This week, episode 281 of Stogie Geeks, we interview Randall Denman of Freedom Fine Cigar Lounge down in Naples, Florida. And we talk about his cigar line, the Machu Picchu cigars. And we also have a very special guest from across the pond, all the way from Ireland. We have Aaron, who's going to be helping us out with the guest interview. And we're going to talk about what it's like, I don't know, having 24/7 access to Cuban cigars right here on this edition of the Stogie Geeks Show.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome everyone to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome to episode 281 of Stogie Geeks. I am your host this week, Joe Hozempa, and in studio we have Aaron. Aaron, how's it going, sir?
Hi, Joe. I'm pleased to be here. Pleased to be here.
It's a very special day. For those of you listening or watching, Aaron comes in our second segment. Aaron lives in Ireland. Ireland, right?
Yeah. Irlandese, Irlanda.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to talk what it's like to have 24/7 access to Cuban cigars and talk a little bit about the cigar culture over there. And in the first segment right now, we are going to interview Randall Denman from Freedom Fine Cigars out in Naples, Florida. And we're going to be smoking his house blend. Aaron, I have for you, I'll give you yours first. This is the Machu Picchu, Connecticut cigar. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I'm getting better. See,
yeah,
we're good.
Machu Picchu.
This is the Machu Picchu, Connecticut Reboosto that is part of Randall's offerings. We're going to talk about how he got started with that. So there is your cigar. He has currently 3 lines right now. The Machu Picchu Habano stick, which is what I'm going to be doing. And I'm not going to lie, I wish I had the Maduro to show you, but I like them so much, I did not save one for the show. It's just the way it goes. It's perks of the job. So I've had the opportunity to smoke all 3 lines, and I'll give my commentary with Randall there. So without further ado, Randall, welcome to Stogie Geeks. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. How are you? Good morning.
Good. Yeah, good. It's the morning somewhere for us. Yeah, good afternoon. How's everything going?
It's going really good. It's
awesome.
Another nice day in Southwest Florida.
Yes, when I found out about you specifically and your cigar shop 2 weeks after I actually left Naples. So I was in Naples over in the beginning of April. And I was there on a trip. So the next time I frequent down there, I'm definitely stopping by your shop for sure.
Welcome. Come on back.
Absolutely. So we're going to light up the Machu Picchu cigar right now. So we're definitely gonna spark that up to pair it with, and we'll get into some of the pairings. Aaron has decided to go with this stuff right here. Aaron, why don't you talk a little bit about this?
All right, this is like a bit of a homegrown whiskey to me. It's like the Bushmills 10-year malt. They make it on the Northampton coast, and it's like right by my house in Ireland, well, where I used to live when I grew up. And to be honest, this is the oldest licensed whiskey distillery in the world. So you hear about your scotches and stuff being quite old. Licensed oldest whiskey distillery in the world. That's what we're claiming anyway. So.
There you go. That's what they claim down there in his neck of the woods, for sure. And then we also have a little bit of water, to go there too. So cheers. When I mean water, it's a local brewery by Revival Brewing Company, and we are having the Night Swimmer, which is a Belgian-style wheat ale. So It's going to turn out to be a great show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So
Light them up. Boys. Light 'em up.
we are. So tell us a little bit about your shop, and then how you get started, and then we can transfer the conversation into the actual line of cigars that you have for your house cigar.
Yeah. So Freedom Fine Cigars and Lounge is now 5 years old. So it's surprising for me to see all of a sudden it's 5 years. It doesn't seem like that. This is my first venture into my own business. I've always managed somebody else's business. And I spent over 30 years living in Manhattan, so I had the opportunity to work with some amazing people and some amazing business owners, and I learned a lot. So I brought my knowledge from New York City. After 30 years, I moved to Naples, Florida, and I opened Freedom Fine Cigars. So 5 years, and it's doing really well.
Right. So if you're looking for Randall's bio, he actually you were at the cigar world famous Grand Havana Room.
Right. The Grand Havana Room is in Manhattan.
Yep.
Up in the sky in the middle of Manhattan in a high-rise overlooking the city. And it's probably the most famous cigar lounge in the world. And I had the opportunity to manage that for 13 years. So it's a good run.
Yeah, sure. Time frame, what years was that about? I'm trying to see if that was part of the Cigar Boom.
97 to, and then I left in 2012.
Okay,
So they're celebrating 21 years. So they're doing something right. Still is the epitome of cigar lounges in the world.
Yeah.
It's a private club. Not many people have heard about it, but once you go in there, you understand what makes it special.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 97, you were on the tail end of the, what some people in the industry call the Cigar Boom, where, basically, if you look at the population of premium tobacco smokers here in the United States, you're talking about it's about 2%. And when it was a Cigar Boom, it was in the upwards of almost 4%. So when we're talking premium tobacco, so there was a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff with cigars for sure back then.
Yeah, a lot of businesses were born during this boom. A lot of businesses found a new blood, and they started over again. I mean, the cigar industry before the boom, I don't know if you guys know this, was flat on its heels. It was dead. And then big kudos to Marvin Shanken, Cigar Aficionado. He created that magazine, and all of a sudden there was a spark. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
The Cigar Boom. Of course, everybody got in.
Oh yeah, and I also think from a marketing perspective and from a business perspective, the technology that we are privy to today wasn't there. So Cigar Aficionado was literally and can be considered literally, dare I say, the Bible of publications, right? Anybody who has a brand or a lifestyle brand wants to really be in there, either for an interview or for an advertisement and stuff like that. So, and then it's funny because I remember when I owned a cigar shop here in the Providence Metro, it was along the same time there. It was the late 90s until the early 2000s. And, we could almost predict that whichever cigar brands were advertised or reviewed in Cigar Aficionado, people would walk into a retail shop and say, "Hey, do you have this?"
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
For sure. I think you had to have your cigar placed in 100 stores in order to be reviewed in the magazine. I don't know if it's the same, but that's important.
Yeah, I've heard advertising restrictions and stuff like that when they first began there. But it's a new day now, right? We have podcasts, we have social media, we have websites. I mean, here on the Stogie Geeks show, we have the opportunity to speak to people, you know, week in and week out at different aspects of the industry who are at different points. And, you know, it gets to a point where, you know, the cigar or the premium tobacco consumer is getting bombarded with a ton of information from a bunch of different sources as opposed to just from a cigar aficionado. How is it over there? Is Cigar Aficionado popular with that? Are the publications over there, or is it website based over there across the pond?
I guess it is big. Yeah, I guess we probably don't have the same percentage of cigar smokers as you do, especially after sort of like 2007 when we sort of banned it from indoors. So it's a bit of a niche market, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah. So
I'm lucky, Joe, to kind of been riding on that wave. I was in food and beverage for all of my career, managing lovely places, restaurants, clubs in Manhattan, and I was offered this opportunity to take this job, and I didn't know anything about cigars.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and my resume spoke for itself. I got the job. I guess I have some public speaking skills, so that helped. And I looked. They have as you enter this club, you walk by the largest walk-in private humidor that I've ever seen. It's all glass, and inside are individual lockers with the names of the members attached to the box.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that sounds good. I like that.
So I arrived there, and I looked at their inventory, and I said, I didn't know what to do, so I just picked the cigars, lit it up, and smoked it. And eventually I smoked my way through the entire inventory, and that was my beginning.
Wow, that sounds like a good start to your job.
Heck yeah.
Where do I sign up? It's like, I'm a bit of a cigar rookie, really. It's like I've been smoking for 10, 15 years, but you guys blow me out of the water. It's like, that seems like a dream come true. I'm coming your way. Can I come over?
I fell in love with the industry because I loved the tobaccos that I was smoking and the beautiful designs and the branding and the boxes. And then all of a sudden I had this unique privilege of meeting some of these cigar makers. And if you were a cigar maker and you were riding that wave, or if you were coming online at that time, you came through the Grand Havana room. So I met every cigar maker in the industry, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I set up dinners for these guys and these gals, and I set up private events, because the cuisine and at the Grand Havana room was 5-star. So I had the opportunity to treat people in the dining room with a beautiful dinner with some crazy wines, and to launch a new cigar.
So you have you were like a cigar sommelier, sort of, and you paired the sort of cigars to the food, and you paired the cigars to the wine.
Yes, as best you can. You know, it's as best you could, but depending on who's launching what, it wouldn't be. It would be more of a start with maybe an introductory size, a robusto, and then build in size to maybe a torpedo in the middle, and then finish with maybe a maduro on the end. You mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it also depends on the cuisine and type of palate for target audience.
Yeah, wow.
You know, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Right.
So how'd you get started over with your own line of cigars?
So I came here 6 years ago now, and I bought an existing business, and it wasn't a very attractive place when I arrived. But I sat here as a customer, and I kind of pretended I was, I like cigars, and I got to know the people that were coming in. This was in the middle of summer, and if you know anything about Southwest Florida, you have to get through the summers here because that's when it gets real quiet.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was up here in the middle of summer, and the guy that owned this business was doing some business. So I said, well, if he can do that, I know I can do a little better. So I bought the business from him, and I got it the place. I made it into a beautiful lounge, cedar lined, with a wonderful selection of draft beers and wines by the glass, and a nice curated selection of cigars. And so my cigar, I talked to the guy who I bought the business from is a master blender. So I asked him, I said, I want to have my own cigar. Can you make me a cigar? He said, sure. So he kept sending me prototypes. various blends, some Dominican, some Nicaraguan, and he kept sending me cigars, and I was just smoking them. Every time I got them, I would smoke them. And then all of a sudden, I smoked one, and my eyebrows raised, and I said, "Wow, what is in this cigar?"
Which one was it? Was it the Connecticut Habano or the Maduro?
It was a Connecticut shade cigar, but there was a filler that was different from something else. I've never tasted it before.
Okay.
And he revealed to me that he put a little Peruvian filler in the middle of the cigar, which is why this is called Machu Picchu. So that little piece of filler from Peru adds a little note of almond.
Yeah.
I don't know if you picked it up, but it's very subtle, but it makes it unique. So it has a blend of Nicaraguan fillers, a little Peruvian filler, and then you have the Connecticut, the Habano, the Maduro around it. So all three lines have a little Peruvian filler.
Okay, Randall. So how long have you been making the cigars? It's like sort of what year are you into now, or sort of?
This is my 5th year, Aaron. I developed this line. It took me quite a while to get through all the cigars that he was sending me, but this one was a winner. As soon as I lit it up, I said, "Wow, what is that?" So he said, "Okay, you like that? That's yours.
Oh wow,
that's your line."
So I
then
see. Sorry, I see that sort of you're in your 5th year, and obviously tobacco leaves change through the years, and that. How do you sort of match your tobacco so that you get a year-on-year constant sort of flavor? So that when I pick up your cigar, sort of 5 years ago, am I tasting the same cigar this year?
Good question.
One of the hardest things to do.
It's like tea.
And any cigar maker will tell you one of the most difficult things to maintain is the consistency. Because if you're a small guy and you're making your own cigar, you're down in Nicaragua or Dominican Republic and you're overseeing your blend. But as soon as you leave and you go to the United States to do your marketing, all of a sudden somebody gets the idea back there to change up the blend.
Yeah.
And they continue making cigars and they ship them. And that can be catastrophic.
Okay, so obviously every shipment of cigars you get, you taste them straight away?
First.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like
very lucky. We had one little glitch about 2 years ago where the blend was off. Okay. So I let my guy know, and he agreed with me, and he went down to where he had to go, and he cracked some skulls, and he got back on. But that's what happens. If you have to. It's hard for a single manufacturer if you don't have a team on both ends. Somebody's got to watch what's happening in the factory.
Okay,
you can't just assume right by you.
If you want me to fly out there and be your chief tester, I can maybe do that for you. Once a year.
Aaron, you have to come to Naples. We'll have a good time down here.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm taking that as an invite. I'm coming.
Yeah, sure. So that's my story on Machu Picchu. And for 5 years now, this cigar and the Habano and the Maduro outsell all of the other cigars I sell in my lounge. All the other branded cigars. The quality is very good. The construction is right on. The burn is really good. The consistency is there. And the price point you can't beat.
So what do you think about sort of I can totally agree. I can see right in front of me that the burn of this cigar is really good. It's like, but they sort of, I hear people telling me, I'm a bit of a rookie cigar smoker. I've probably mentioned it before, and I'm sorry, I'll probably mention it again. But sort of, you have like the white ash, and you have like gray ash, and I've heard people say that white ash is better because it shows that the correct nutrients are getting into the tobacco leaves. How do you feel about that? Is that something you look into?
Now we're getting into the sausage making of cigars. Aaron, I'm not going to pretend I'm going to have an answer for that. I just know that I just want a cigar that burns consistently, like the one you have.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like I'm looking at it now and in awe of it, and the burn is beautiful. It's like sometimes I forget the twist too much, and I get too excited about smoking it, and I'm turning this around now, and it's very consistent.
Right, you can see you've got a nice burn going there, and the ash is holding on, so the filler is the right component and the right construction.
I feel that I need my smoking jacket on because Yeah, you're saying the ash is holding well. When this drops, this is gonna drop all over me.
You know we have a big ashtray over here.
All right, no, I don't like to drop the ash. It's like I'm sort of taking it as like traditional British, where like smoking jacket on with burns everywhere, and it's like I don't want to flick the ash off. I want it to drop on me. Am I wrong there? Am I smoking them wrong?
No, you're the answer is you smoke them the way that you want to smoke them.
Okay, I get that.
One of my closest friends, he still lives in the New York City area. We communicate a lot, but he is a member of the Grand Havana Room, and for the years that I managed that club, he was a member, and I've known him for so many years. There were beautiful ashtrays all over the Grand Havana Room. Right within an arm's reach, there was always an ashtray near you somewhere. But he always hung on to that ash at the end of his cigar, like that. And he would intend to use the ashtrays, but he never made it. And no matter where he sat, there was always footprints of his shoes, where ash had fallen around his shoes. I could always tell that he was there.
Would I get kicked out of the Grand Havana Rooms for that, or would they let me stay? I can clean up afterwards if you want me to.
They'd probably stay in the kitchen to do some washing or something.
Okay, I can do that. I'll just be happy to be there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So take us to so out of the Machu Picchu cigar line, right? You have Connecticut, you have a Habano, and you have a Maduro. And then you offer, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's 3 different sizes, correct, in each?
Well, I have a Gordo, which is a 60 by 6.
Right.
Then a double Corona, a Torpedo, a Robusto, a Coronita, and a Lancero.
Oh, okay. So you offer all of those sizes for all of the 3 blends. Those are available within your shop. So then I guess my next question is, and I'm sure the answer is, Joe, it depends on time of day, right? But what's kind of like your go-to? What do you?
Me?
Yes, you.
I go for small ring gauge.
Yeah.
I've always gone for a smaller cigar because, in my theory, the less filler.
Oh, something's going on in Naples.
You're gonna miss it. The less filler, more flavor, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you have less filler in your cigar, you taste more of the wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
And the wrapper has a lot of beautiful flavor. So I smoke a Robusto or a Coronita or a Lancero.
Yep. Yeah. So because you answered it that way, I'm assuming that your customers love the Torpedo and the Gordo, right? Because I understand premium tobacco consumer behavior.
Yes, the 60 ring gauge is a huge seller.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I speak to people about this all the time. Whenever Paul's here on Stogie Geeks, we always go back to this, right? A lot of great companies make the Lanceros or the Robustos, and the consumers love the Torpedo or the Gordo or Churchill because they always feel that for 60 more cents or whatever it is, 60, 80 cents, they're going to get a bigger cigar and they're getting more of a value. No, right? And so when you look at it, we can have this discussion because you're on both ends, right? You have your own line and you have a retail shop, right? So this discussion makes total sense here, right? So they always feel that they're going to get more of a cigar because the cigar is bigger. But what the consumers don't understand, and I think I'm on an endless crusade to educate the Stogie Geeks listeners, is that probably like 70%, if not more, of the flavor of the cigar, any cigar, premium tobacco, so handmade, right, will come from the wrapper.
I agree.
Yeah. So if you have a bigger ring gauge, you have more binder and filler in there.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you get a better flavor if it's a smaller ring gauge or a smaller cigar. And it's funny because the consumers always flock to the bigger stuff.
Yeah, I can see that because sometimes things are bigger, better. But I was thinking about your cigar, so it's like, does it give like a consistent taste the whole way through, or is it wrapped so that you get a bit of a flavor change as you go down? Because if you're smoking a big cigar, sometimes maybe, unless it's an amazing, beautiful cigar and you don't want it to change, sometimes you have cigars wrapped so the flavor profile changes on the way down.
A lot of cigar manufacturers lay their fillers in with the design in mind for the consumer. A lot of manufacturers put a little more ligero in the first third of the cigar to give a nice little punch, and then the ligero burns off, and you're down into the regular filler, into the middle, and then to the end.
Okay, so they don't. Sorry, you carry on.
So a cigar will change. But when I had my guy make my cigar, I told him, I said, I want my cigar to be enjoyed from the first puff. I want, right as soon as you get that first puff, I want to go, wow, I'm going to like this right away.
Okay.
How many times have you lit up a cigar and spent 5 minutes looking at it thinking I just wasted my money?
Yeah, I sort of see that as like foreplay. So it's like if you break me into a cigar gently, I might be a bit more receptive. But maybe I'm looking at that like from a girl's perspective. I don't know. But yeah, punch is good. Punch is good for men. Punches in the face.
You know.
Yeah.
I think
typically cigar makers they want to have an impact on the cigar. I want my cigar to be enjoyable from the first light, and then it'll change subtly as it goes through. But it's frustrating to buy a cigar that you don't enjoy for the first 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it changes, and you go, oh, there it is. There's the cigar. I wanted mine right away.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I see that.
So they do that to make it consistent. And what I've noticed I've smoked all of the sizes that you sent me and in all of the blends that you sent me. And what I've noticed with the cigar is regardless if I was going from a Robusto to a Toro, it did stay consistent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it did stay consistent in the beginning. Like the Robusto I found very flavorful. The Toro in the beginning, very flavorful, and then it kind of faded just a scotch, but then it came back. It was really enjoyable there.
Yeah.
If I remember when I first got exposed to your cigars, I was like, ooh, Habano, let me try that, because not a lot of people lately experiment with Habano. It's not as really popular. It's kind of like saying, okay, well, sun grown is now the 2018 thing. You know, everyone's coming out with a version of a sun grown, and everybody's trying to do something there, even though sun grown's been around forever, right? But it's kind of coming back. You know, a couple years ago, it was the double Ligero, it was Daca cigars, it was pepper cigars. So I was like, well, let me try the Habano. I lit up the Habano. I did a Habano torpedo. I was like, wow, this is a really, really good cigar. It's consistent. It's smooth. I like it. Then I tried the Robusto, and I was like, "Oh wow, I really like this." Then I didn't shy away from the Maduro. I just, you know, we get so many cigars and stuff I have to try for the show, right? So when I finally got to I remember calling. I think it was you. I either gave you or Russ a call, and I says, "I really like the Habano. Oh my God, he's onto something." Then I called back and said, "No. I love the Maduro." Like the Maduro, I was like, no. I erased everything I said about the Habano. I did like it, but that Maduro for me was awesome.
Oh, wow, that's like, excitement. Yeah, I can feel the excitement coming across from you there.
You know, and I was like, okay. First thing I had said was, "Does he ship?" And I was like, "Yes, he does ship cigars." I was like, perfect, because I am getting a bundle, or however you sell them, boxes, and we'll get to that. I'm getting a bundle of the Maduro Robusto. That is an awesome stick.
The reason why that cigar tastes so good is the fermentation that's in a Maduro. I'm holding a Maduro torpedo here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a beautiful shine to it, and it's got a nice color to it. But the extensive fermentation that makes us a Maduro leaves residual sugar in the fermentation. And it results in a very delicate sweet taste that you barely notice, but it's there. That's what makes the Maduro really good.
It's actually there because sometimes, and I say sometimes because I know there's a difference between a true Maduro and a spray. I call it the spray tan Maduro, where they can kind of,
They spray the sweetness into it, like they push the sugar.
You can actually escalate the Maduro process.
Oh, right.
Through a spray on. And how I've noticed that is, did you ever smoke a cigar and take a napkin and kind of go at the corners of your mouth and you can be like, oh wow, and it's almost like woman's lipstick on a glass, right? You can literally take a napkin, wipe it like that, and see the Maduro. You say, oh, okay, that's
and it feels cheap.
It feels cheap, and on my palate, it kind of gets bitey. What I mean by bitey is a little sharp. It's not as smooth. When you have the Machu Picchu Maduro, right? What you get is you actually get a natural Maduro sweetness.
Okay.
Now you have the Peruvian layer on there, right? So you get that a little bit of that almond flavor. I just dubbed it as sweetness, right? So you have a natural sweetness. Then you have from the Peruvian another layer of sweetness, and it's so tasty, and it's not bitey at all.
Yeah.
And it's constructed just like that. Look at the burn he's got on that thing.
That's amazing. I'm loving this, and I'm getting sweetness. It's like I feel like apple pie.
Long ash competition winner. So these are in bundles. They're 25 in a bundle, because if you're not living in the state of Florida, obviously we have no cigar tax here. Not many people know that. There's only 3 states in Texas, Pennsylvania, and Florida. No cigar tax. Everywhere else, you're getting gouged.
Right.
So we're still free of cigar taxes. And then if I ship them to you, there's no sales tax, obviously, and I pay for shipping.
There you go.
So it's a winner.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, so, and you can sell them by the bundle, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a bundled cigar. It's not boxed.
No, they come in bundles.
Yeah, okay,
and they're packed.
Yep.
With humidipacks inside, so they travel well.
Yeah. I'm not worried about travel. I just know I gotta put them in a box.
I'm just wondering when I come to visit and I come back, it's like, how am I going to get them through customs? It's like, I want to get them deep in my bag, so maybe I have to bring like a nice leather case to get them in there.
Either that, or we can ship them here and then ship them over to you.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing.
We'll ship them over to him across the pond.
Aaron, allowed to a certain amount of cigars duty free.
What's up?
I think you're allowed to bring back a certain amount of tobacco with you duty free.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So you got to figure out what that is.
Yeah. But I'm sure I can take a few more. I can risk it.
Absolutely. So the cigar line's doing well. It's only available exclusively in your store.
Yes.
Yep. So if the Stogie Geeks listener who's listening today or who's listening to the podcast, how can they get in contact with you to so you can ship them some cigars?
Well, there's 3 ways to connect with me. There's through my website, which is freedomfinecigars.com, or Facebook, facebook.com/freedomfinecigars. Like the page. You can send me a message there or through my contact us through the website, or you can call me at the lounge 239-207-9070.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, I'm definitely picking some up. I'm definitely a fan of the brand. It's tough to find a really sweet, non-bitey Maduro. And quick side note, when I had the opportunity to do a blending seminar with Jose Blanco in the industry here, it had nothing to do with Stogie Geeks. It was another event, and that was one of his comments. And Jose Blanco, a very famous roller, does a bunch of stuff, very known icon within the industry. And it's one of those things where, coming from him, it was like I felt that some of the Maduros I had were kind of sharp, and some of the Maduro cigars I had kind of weren't. I don't want to say they were synthetic, but was something off. It was too much pepper, too much focus on pepper. And when I find a really good sweet Maduro, I usually get hooked on it. And to me, that's what was my takeaway from your line of Maduro cigars, for sure.
Yeah, the Robusto in all three lines is the best-selling cigar in Machu Picchu, Connecticut, or Maduro. The Robusto is the big seller because of the smaller ring gauge. It's a 50 ring gauge by 5. It burns perfectly. Aaron has one there now. It tastes really good, and it's a joy to smoke. Yeah. And it's not expensive.
There you go. I like it. I'm smoking the Torpedo Habano. You want to elaborate a little bit more on that? What I'm supposed to be picking up on that? Because I'm picking up, it's almost on the retrohale. It's kind of like a refresher on the palate on the retrohale. I can definitely taste some of the almond for sure. I can absolutely taste some of the sweetness. The Habano wrapper, awesome. When you light it, it kind of gives you when you do your kind of pre-light there, kind of gives you like that campfire. But when I retrohale this, I'm getting it's like a freshness.
I agree.
I'm trying to elaborate that, and in my experience, I don't know if you ever heard of the Atabay. They're by United Cigars. The Atabay. It's almost like we've described it here on Stogie Geeks in previous episodes, where it's not quite, but you know how if you ever had like you've chewed Dentine Ice or something like that, and you get a freshness on the palate. I'm getting some type of freshness on that. What am I supposed to be picking up?
Retrohaling is the way to enjoy a cigar, so that's the way to do it. But when you push that through your nose, you're picking up the spices from the Habano wrapper.
Because I believe that's very true.
Go ahead. What, Randall? Go ahead. You go first.
There's more Ligero in that cigar than there is in the Connecticut.
Okay.
That gives it a little more strength.
Yeah.
Right? And then the Maduro has even a touch more Ligero in it. So it's more of a fuller body cigar, but it has that sweet finish. So the Habano has a little more spice in it.
So your Habano has a little bit more spice than the Maduro?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's because I did notice that the Maduro, like I said, is very sweet, pleasant
cigar I travel with in my car. I have a travel case, and I just pack it full of Habano Coronita, which is smaller ring gauge than the Robusto, because I can pack a lot of them in my case. That's another reason why I like small cigars.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you do any events down there at your shop? Talk to us a little bit more on the retail side.
Yeah, well, during the season, it's pretty crazy. Our population triples for 4 or 5 months, and it gets kind of crazy here starting in January or December, January. But so I have a very active lounge, and just the people that come through here is the highlight of my day every day. There's always somebody new coming in, and then they become instant parts of my family, and they come back. So it's a wonderful journey. But during the season, we call it the season, from December to May, I have live music here every Friday night. And so I bring singers and songwriters from all over the country, and I bring them in here, and they're really talented. And I turn this room into a cabaret.
Nice.
And the beer is going, the wine's going, the cigars are going, and people are having, and all the lights come down, so it's kind of like a candlelight feeling. And it turns into a listening room. It's not a loud place where people are slamming beer mugs. People come here to meet the musician, they listen to the lyrics, they get into the songwriting. It's a listening room. So I've gotten really popular because of Friday night music during the season.
How have any of the tobacco laws affecting you in Florida? I know that there's no tax on cigars, but is there any kind of anti-smoking legislation going on out there, or is nothing,
No on cigars in Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
The only thing that I can come up that's on the top of my head, Senator Nelson, Senator, and DeMarco Rubio, the other senator, they have jointly signed a letter and sent it to the FDA to request again for exemption.
Yes.
From all tobacco regulation. So that was done recently. So kudos to both of them.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're just waiting to. I don't know. I think I told you about this last time we spoke, Joe. J.C. Newman up in Tampa is currently operating the oldest cigar factory in the United States. I don't know if many people know that, but it's a historic landmark, and it's in full swing operation. And they have these little postcards that you can call and request when you call J.C. Newman. And it tells us about their factory. And the postage is paid by J.C. Newman, and all you have to do is put your name on it and the hometown that you live in, and they'll mail it to you for free. And we're bombarding the FDA with these cards.
Yeah,
Exemption.
absolutely. Those actually made them their way up here to the Northeast. And
if there's any manufacturers out there that want to be proactive, call J.C. Newman, ask them for the postcard. They'll send you batches of them, and they're all just give them to your customers. Let them fill it out.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it off the top of my head? It's savetampa.org or what's the URL on that?
Save Cigar City.
There you go. It was savecigarcity.org. You can go there and fill out the online version too, and that they are collectively collecting them because there is a factory that's kind of under attack with some of the legislation and stuff like that, and the FDA has been kind of how do I put this? The FDA has been kind of tinkering and tampering, and I know that I'm going to get a bunch of hate email for this, but it's okay, because there's a Stogie Geeks listener out there who says that I always beg for emails, and I don't. It's called communicating with your audience. So there you go. Maybe you should try it sometime. You would get some more listeners. Anyway, that being said, it made its way up here, and the FDA has been kind of tinkering with the idea of highly regulating cigars. Just to let you know what's going on. Anything past a exemption date. But the thing is, they keep playing around with the exemption date. Or they keep kicking the can down the road. And since I've had Cigar Club Radio since 2014, so I've been in a talk format of cigars since then. And having previous experience with owning my shop, my prediction still stands with the FDA, and everybody I interviewed say I'm crazy. I have plenty of documentation here on Stogie Geeks to say, no, Joe, you don't understand. All they're going to do is just kick the can down the road, and they really don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? With this legislation. And my prediction is the same in 2018 as it was in 2014. I don't think it's going to happen to the extent that they want it, but I think that eventually it's going to happen. But in our business time frame, and I said this 4 years ago, we're talking probably a 10-year plan before we actually see any type of real like industry shaking change.
So it's like, what are you saying? Is it like, are they trying to barrel and tumble in, sort of like cigarette smoking with cigar smoking?
Well, what they're trying to do is make premium tobacco, so anything that's not machine made. So those little Chicos that you smoke, not those. Anything handmade, if it's past a specific date, it has to go through a testing process through the FDA. Okay, sure. Just like if you were going to invent a new brownie or a new beer or something like that. Okay, fine. That being said, how much is that going to cost? That's the big gorilla in the room.
Okay,
right?
so it's pushing up the price of the tobacco.
So there have been rumors and there have been fact tablets saying, okay, it's going to be $250,000 per blend. It's going to be $100,000 per blend for the FDA process to get that license approved if it's past this predicate date.
Wow.
Okay. So my stance has been, okay, great. They come up with $250,000 because when you're in the cigar biz, right? It's a race to 250,000, right?
Yeah.
So if you and me come up with the Aaron and Joe show cigar, right? And we invent a cigar and we do our first batch and we order 250,000 cigars, right? There's a business model in there, but after that 250,000 is when we're quote unquote established.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see
so,
that.
So ironically, worst case scenario, here comes the hate email. What's it going to do? It's going to raise the price $1.
Yeah.
Right? Because like any industry, what are they going to do? They're going to pass the price down to the consumer.
Yeah, of course.
Like any industry. It has nothing to do with cigars. It has basic economics. You can learn this in a really good high school that teaches economics or entry-level college economics class, right? And so all they're going to do is pass it down to the consumer. And people, no, Joe, you don't understand. It's going to make no. If you're going to take a business expense on, you're going to pass it on to your consumer.
Yeah, of course you are.
People we interview all the time, Randall, no, Joe, that's not how it is. You don't understand. You don't understand the law. You don't understand. No. That could be their methodology. You know what I mean? Now, with the Save Tampa there, you have people's jobs involved because they're actually rolling manufacturing over there. And it becomes a kind of like a, it's an industry that's not regulated as much as other industries, but the big question is the government using it for a money grab?
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what it feels like immediately.
But I mean, so the argument, I can see the argument, and I'm not here to say that it's going to happen and it's not going to happen. I think they're just going to keep kicking the can down the road. What do you think, Randall? What do you think about that?
You guys there?
Yeah. Did you not hear all of that rant I just did? Or
You know what? When I decided to buy my own business, which is, it was a lot of money for me when I started. We're lost. Connection lost.
You lost your connection?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, we got you.
Okay, and we're back. Okay. So 5 years ago, when I decided to open this, I actually called around to some of my friends in the business, and I asked them. These are senior guys, and I said, I'm about to buy a business and do a cigar lounge. Am I stupid? Am I nuts? And all of them said, just go with it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Go. And here we are 5 years later, and the can is still being kicked down the road, and I continue to grow.
Right. Because, because what's going to happen, right? If you take any basic economics, okay, I know it affects the boutique cigars, and we have boutique cigar sponsors and potential sponsors of the show, so full disclaimer. And then you have the big guys who've been rolling stuff for over 100 years, right? The big guys are like, yeah, all right, whatever, we're safe because we're in front of the predicate date. Right?
Yeah.
But don't you think that basic economics, some of the big guys might be interested in some of the little guys? I mean, it happens in the craft beer industry all the time.
Yeah, they're
right?
going to buy it up.
They're going to buy them up, right? They're going
like Google buying everything, isn't
right.
it? Like,
so, I mean, if we want to have a discussion, and believe me, I get so much hate email. You don't understand. This is my life and my passion and whatnot. Yeah, but, if someone offers you, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, whatever your number is, to buy out your brand, what are you going to say? No? Oh, no, I'm passionately connected to the stick?
Yeah.
Please, I can give you a list of people and sponsors who have done that. You know what I mean? Like throughout the industry. So it's kind of crazy. So you're in my boat ish. Maybe not with so much antics or passion about it or hatred about it, but you really think that they're just going to kick the can down the road?
Well, there's a date in 2021 that all of this is revisited.
Yeah,
again.
2021. Right. Like, I mean. But this was 2014. You see how they first they said it's going to go there, and it's crazy.
I have a feeling, Joe, that this is going to be washed away. That's what I think.
Yeah, because
I think this regulation is going to be removed. We're not doing anything illegal. We don't serve children.
Right.
I'm minding my own business. Leave me alone.
Yep. There you go. Hey, I want to talk to you about pairings because you have some sommelier experience as well, obviously, from your resume. You have some tasty treats by your feet, I know, or on your desk. Let's talk about those.
Yep. So I wanted just as an idea about pairing, in general overview, in my opinion. And I've been a sommelier for over 20 years, and I kind of love the wine industry. and I've met a lot of winemakers. But when it comes to cigars and wine, they're not great friends. Wine and cigar are not great friends, in my opinion. Why? Because you make a cigar with a distinct style and a flavor. You blend it that way. You're the chef. You put the notes in the recipe, and that's the cigar that you made. You want those notes to stand out. And when you make wine, it's the same thing. So when you put two strongly
personalities,
blended,
there you go.
They clash.
Yep.
They clash. So let's start with red.
Okay.
This is I have a favorite wine region, and it's the Rhone region in southeastern France, and they make Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Gigondas, Côte Rôtie, and a lot of wonderful red wines primarily. But when it comes to pairing, I always recommend a Rhone varietal from Rhone. The great varietals that are allowed to be used in Rhone have a rounder edge to the profile. Does that make sense? Versus a newly fermented Cabernet just released from Napa Valley. You're going to have tons of tannin, and it's going to be firm. And that's the last thing you want to have in your mouth as you're smoking a cigar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So the varietals that they use to make wine in the Rhone are soft varietals. They have lots of wonderful flavors of dark berry and earth, but the flavors are not edgy. They're round. So they complement a cigar. And a cigar can be a cigar while you're smoking the wine, and the wine can still represent itself.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome.
This is a Gigondas. This is one of my favorite wine regions. It's called Gigondas in Rhone. And this is a beautiful expression of lovely fruits with old world style. And it's just fantastic with a cigar.
Nice.
Now, on the other hand, I just put up on my Facebook page another wonderful pairing that works really, really, really well. For you Diamond Crown lovers out there, it's an amazing cigar. If you've never had a Diamond Crown, spend the money, smoke one, and you will go, holy shit, that's really good. It's worth the money. It's expensive, but it's great. You pair it with this wine here. This is from upstate New York. This is a Muscat. So the delicacy of the Diamond Crown, the lightness, the mildness of it blends perfectly with the Muscat. This has notes of pear and a little bit of melon, and the two of them together are fantastic.
Nice. My mouth is watering.
Yeah. So it's like that's come as a surprise to me. I can see the red wines going really well. It's like I'm a big carnivore. It's like you can see how big I am. It's like I'm filled with red meat sort of thing. And it naturally flows with me to see the red wine pairing. But it's like you being a sommelier, and it's like that really surprises me that a white wine will go with a good cigar.
Oh, yeah.
So this is really smooth and really sweet. So it's like that I see what you're saying now. It's like that's fantastic. I'll have to try that.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
So keep this in your things to try to pair. One of the classic pairings never fails. Get a Padron 1964. Pair it with a 20-year-old Tawny port.
Tawny pot.
I'm a big port drinker.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
awesome. Well, if you want to contact Randall and get some of these awesome cigars, all you have to do is go to freedomfinecigars.com. You can check him out. If you want to read more of his bio, you can go to stogiegeeks.com. Click on episode 281. Randall, thank you for joining us on the show. Are you sticking around for the next segment, or are you bouncing?
I'm in the lounge. I've got people waiting here.
Yeah,
so
I know. Randall, thank you for joining us. Stay in touch. We'll talk to you soon. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk to Aaron about cigar culture and what's it like across the pond. We'll be right back.